I cannot believe that The Force Awakens is 10 years old already. That means it's now as old as Revenge of the Sith was when it first came out, which doesn't make any sense to me. The time between Revenge of the Sith and The Force Awakens felt like an eternity. The time between The Force Awakens and now felt like a quick blink of the eye. I mean, I remember when Star Wars Episode 7 was just a myth, something that fans would merely speculate over. Now, it's a thing of the past. People don't spend 2 seconds thinking about the film. The online discourse is dominated by how much fans hate everything that came out after it. A hate that's so consuming that I'm not sure if anyone is looking forward to any future Star Wars projects. But man, people were definitely looking forward to this film. I'll never forget how monumentally huge this movie was. Getting tickets for opening night was a hassle. Online ticketing was still relatively new, so servers were crashing like crazy. Knowing that this would be the case, my brother and I waited in line at Navy Pier to get IMAX tickets in person, and we still couldn't get them. Navy Pier's servers were also crashing, so we had to drive to a different theater to get our tickets. That was easier than waiting in an online queue. But this was before you could select your own seats, so if you wanted to sit somewhere good, you had to show up early to the theater. So that's exactly what we did. My family and I showed up to the theater a full 12 hours before the show time. And the theater actually let us inside the auditorium, so we were able to get our seats well in advance. I believe we basically took up 2 rows. Thankfully, the theater also had an arcade/bowling alley attached, so we were able to walk around, eat, and play some games before the movie started. And it's not like we were the only early ones there, the theater was full of people. The energy and the anticipation was totally palpable, unlike anything I've ever experienced before. My brother was even interviewed by 3 different news stations. I guess his excitement was infectious. We were like kids who couldn't wait to open their presents on Christmas. I'll never forget the cheer that roared as soon as it was time for the movie to start. I definitely choked up when I saw the Lucasfilm logo. I had a stupid smile on my face when I saw the official Star Wars logo, and I was completely locked in when I read the line, "Luke Skywalker has vanished." What an awesome way to begin this new era of Star Wars. And even though that era didn't end on the best note, that doesn't take away from how good it felt at the start. The potential just seemed so limitless. Rey meeting Luke Skywalker at the end of the film, nothing I say can properly express the joy and the nostalgia that I felt in that moment. It was magical seeing 2 different generations coming together for the very first time. It felt exactly like when Ethan met Red at the end of Pokemon Gold and Silver. So, no matter what anyone has to say about it now, The Force Awakens will always have a special place in my heart. I ended up seeing it 3 times in theaters. The second time was in Navy Pier's IMAX, which was absolutely awesome. Seeing the Millennium Falcon chase sequence in a genuine IMAX theater was genuinely fantastic. But I'll never forget the third time I saw the film either. My cousins and I were so excited to see the movie again that my grandfather decided to catch it with us. Now, for some context, my grandfather doesn't really know much about Star Wars, so I don't know how much of the film he actually understood, but even if he was a bit confused, that didn't stop him from having a good old time. He was just happy to be with us, and I'm glad that he did come with us. My grandfather passed away earlier this year, and for all of the good memories I have of him, I'll always cherish this particular memory forever. I miss you, Grandpa. Now, I know I've only talked about my feelings surrounding the release of the film and not about the actual movie itself. So, I should probably clarify that I think The Force Awakens is also a really damn good film. Sure, it may be a bit similar to A New Hope, narratively speaking, but I think it did a great job of introducing memorable and interesting characters to an entirely new generation of Star Wars fans. It's easy to forget, but when The Force Awakens first came out, there was still a lot of hate towards the Star Wars prequel trilogy. Because now, people who grew up on those films have been very vocal about how much they love them. So, while there may be a lot of hate towards the sequel trilogy now, I'm sure these films will be getting the same treatment in a few years' time, once the fans who grew up on these movies can share their love for them. But I've always loved The Force Awakens, and I suppose I always will. Even with all of its faults, this movie will always be a personal favorite of mine. I'm not sure if any future Star Wars project will be able to elicit the same kind of emotion out of me, but I'm sure plenty of projects will turn out to be just as good, if not better, than this one. So I'm grateful for the era of Star Wars that The Force Awakens was able to usher in. It may have a mixed reputation right now, but I'll never forget how good it was when it first started. So, even after all of these years, The Force Awakens would still get a recommendation from me. But be sure to let me know what you think of Episode 7, and as always, thanks for watching.